In this video, we're going to be writing an expression as a single logarithm. Okay, so we're going to start with 2 or 3 logarithms, and we're going to combine all of it down as simplified into one logarithm as we can get. Okay, so the first step is take care of the exponents. Okay, so we'll take care of the exponents. We'll bring this 4 up here, so that it will be log 3 of x minus 6 to the 4th. We'll bring the 2 up. Now you have the option of bringing the negative up with it. I would prefer not to do that. You can, it just might add a little more work later. So I'm going to leave the minus sign there and just bring the 2 up. Okay, so it will be minus log base 3 of x plus 5 squared. Okay, now we have the same base. We have no numbers out front. So we can use the quotient rule, which says that if you have 2 of the same logarithms or same bases and it subtracts in between, you can divide with this first one on top and the second one on bottom. So we can divide this and we can make one single logarithm, log base 3, of x minus 6 to the 4th over x plus 5 to the 2. Okay, let's take a look at this second one. So we have 7 log base m, 5w plus 1 and 1/2. That's plus 1/2 log base m of w plus 8. So we do have a base of m, and it's not a number, but that's okay because it's the same. So we'll just assume the same base. We're going to take this 7 and bring it up, and a half and bring it up. So we'll get log base m of 5w plus 1 to the 7 plus log base m of w plus 8 to the 1/2. And recall that when you have something raised to the 1/2 power, that's the same thing as a square root. So I can erase this and get rid of it, and I can put a square root over the w plus 8 if I want. Okay, now we have the plus sign. That is the product rule for logarithms. That means we can bring it together as one logarithm since they're the same base, and just write them next to each other and multiply. So it would be log base m of 5w plus 1 to the 7th times w plus 8 to the 1/2. Okay, so there is one way to write it. You could also write it as log base m of 5w plus 1 to the 7th times the square root of w plus 8. Okay, so that's 2 different ways of writing it. I prefer writing it as a square root, just looks better to me. But either way, these are both correct. All right, let's look at the next one. So we have 3 logarithms. They all have the same base, so that's good. So let's take care of the numbers out front first. So first one gives us log base a of x to the 7. The next one, I'm going to keep the minus. So minus log base a of z to the 1/3. And then plus log base a of y to the 3rd. Okay, they all have the same base. So we're going to split this up into 2 parts. This will be the top, and this will go on bottom, and then we'll take care of that later. So you'll get log base a of x to the 7 divided by z to the 1/3 plus log base a of y to the 3rd. Okay, since they again have the same base, then we can multiply this one using the product rule. So when we're multiplying, we can either put it out here front or put it up top with the x to the 7. So that's what I'm going to do. Log base a of, that's an a, right, by the way, of x to the 7 times y to the 3 over z to the 1/3. You could also write that as a cube root if you want. Either way, you could write it as the cube root of z. Okay, but this is the answer. Let's move on. Okay, so this one we've got a 4 out front. So let's go ahead and distribute that. So that'll give us 4 log base 2 of y minus 4 log base 2 of w plus 3 log base 2 of x. Okay, so this is very similar to the one we just did. The first one's positive, second one's negative, third one's positive. And notice that the ones that were positive ended up on top, and the one that was negative ended up on bottom. So we'll do it that way this time. But let's take care of the exponents first. So it'll be log base 2 of y to the 4th minus log base 2 of w to the 4th plus log base 2 of x to the third. Okay, so top, top, bottom. One logarithm, log base 2 of y to the fourth times x to the third over w to the fourth. And if you want to write the x before the y, that's perfectly fine. Alphabetical order, that's usually the way I prefer it too. But either way works. All right, let's look at this one. So let's take care of these exponents first. We'll bring them up. They do have the same base on the logarithm, so we can bring them together. So the first step is log base b of 8w plus 1 to the fifth plus log base b of w plus 7 to the 1/4, which is the fourth root. Okay, since it's adding, and there's two logarithms, we can bring it together by multiply. So you can write it as log base b of, on the top we have 8w plus 1 to the fifth, and on the bottom you can either just write it as w plus 7 to the 1/4, or you can write it as the fourth root of w plus 7. Okay, so either one of these are right. Let me go ahead and write that other way. Put a little or here, or you could do log base b of 8w plus 1 to the fifth over w plus 7 to the 1/4 power. Both are correct. All right, last one. So all three bases are the same. Good. Let's bring up the exponents. So log base 6 of w to the 1/3 plus log base 6 of y to the 4 minus log base 6 of z. Okay, positive, so up top, positive, so up top, negative, so the bottom. So we get one big logarithm, log base 6 of w to the 1/3 times y to the 4 over z. And you can also write that in terms of a cube root, log base 6 of the cube root of w times y to the 4 over z.